The teacher is insane for this. This class had just finished reading Lord of the Flies in English, and the teacher? She was passionate, maybe too passionate. So after they had finished reading this Lord of the Flies, the next day she tells them this. Class, we are going into the woods tomorrow. Bring a backpack full of things. We're gonna live like the boys on the island. So next day they come with backpacks full of stuff and they head to the woods. No rules, no roles, just chaos. She hands them bandanas and points to the woods behind the school. All right, go. One teacher and 20 students. And these weren't just regular kids. Somebody brought a pillowcase full of flour and was whacking people with it. Another kid filled a spray bottle with perfume and was spraying in another kid's eyes, trying to blind them. Take that. Soon there was turf wars, alliances, groups getting ambushed. Kids were using mud as war paint. They were getting feral, and the teacher was just standing there at the edge of the woods watching this go down like it's some sort of social experiment. Yes. 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 And it went way too far. Kids were getting bloody noses, one person was throwing up profusely, I don't know why, and the teacher didn't get in trouble for this, not even like a warning or anything. The principal didn't even know about any of this until a parent called a couple days later, but he still did nothing. And the crazy part is, the next year, this teacher did the same exact thing. Honestly, that sounds kind of fun. Freshman year, this kid dumped every single drop of soap on the floor of the boys' bathroom. Soap everywhere. Yeah, it was a mess. There was soap everywhere. It was a slippery crime scene. You would think the janitor would come in, clean it up, they would punish whoever did this, and they would refill the soap. But that's not what they did. In fact, they took the soap out of every other boys' bathroom in the school, and they left all of the soap dispensers empty for 4 years. One kid makes a huge mess one time, and now every single boy at the school cannot wash their hands with soap. Yo, this isn't fair at all. It's actually disgusting. And whenever someone complained, the teachers were like, well, you can thank whoever made the mess the first time. And kids started bringing their own soap in their backpacks, but most people didn't. And that's when one kid decided to start a soap business. He bought a bunch of tiny soaps from the dollar store, and he sold them for $1. So he wasn't making any profit, but he was able to provide soap to anybody that had $1. And to this day, pretty sure there still isn't any soap at that school. That's nuts. It started with a long yellow slip and slide going down the hill at the park. This kid had it set up with a hose and a couple buckets of soapy water. And at the bottom, he had lined up these kiddie pools to help break the fall so he wouldn't get like that grass burn. At first, it was just him and his few friends in this one slip and slide. But when other kids started to gather around wanting to take their turn, he said, okay, everyone chill. $5 gets you 5 runs down the slide. And people paid. By the next week, he had 3 slip and slides side by side. One with a sprinkler arch, one with cool inflatable bumpers, and one had a tunnel attachment that would spray water down as you went through. Each one was fancier than the last. It was basically a water park in the middle of a neighborhood park. Kids were bringing towels, parents were even coming with lawn chairs to get a tan while their kids slip and slided down the hill. But one kid really wanted to slide down, but he didn't have any cash. You take Venmo? Sorry dude, cash only. Ah, man, okay. You know what, it's real hot today, so just come on, have fun. That sounds absolutely awesome. You gotta respect the hustle. Every single dog in the neighborhood knew this kid, even the mean ones. This kid made it a point. Every afternoon he would walk the neighborhood, stopping at every fence of every house that had a dog. Small dogs, big dogs, mean dogs, dogs with the sign, do not pet. The ones that would bark nonstop, the ones that would continuously growl. He would go to each one. He would crouch, he would talk to them softly, bring them pieces of ham, or chicken, or turkey. Hey, you're a big mean dog, are you? Hey, here's some turkey. Oh, here's some chicken. Yeah. Oh, here's a toy. Day after day, he was earning the respect of these dogs. Some dogs took weeks, some dogs took months, but eventually every single dog knew him and loved him. To the point where whenever he would walk by, the barking and growling would stop, and they would start wagging their tails. Well, one afternoon, this kid is sitting in his front yard. He's carving a little canoe out of a log with a knife. He's focused, like he's some sort of woodsman. Yes, very nice. This is good cedar. Then he hears it. Heavy paws, deep growling, the rattling of a collar. And he looks up. Down the street, one of the neighborhood's scariest, meanest dogs got loose. And this dog is sprinting towards a neighbor that's walking alone. The neighbor does not know what to do, so he freezes. This kid knows this is freaking bad. This dog is about to attack this guy. So he tries to stop it. He stands up and he yells, "Rufus!" The dog skids to a stop, takes his eyes off the neighbor, and looks at the kid. And immediately the dog is now happy. He jogs past the neighbor, straight to the kid. The kid gives him some turkey and takes him by the collar. He then walks the dog back to his house and knocks on the door. "Hi, so your dog likes me, but he doesn't like everybody. You gotta get him some training. I saved you big time today." The kid then goes back to his yard, sits down, and finishes carving the canoe out of the wood. Like nothing happened. What an absolute legend. It started with strawberry milk. Cafeteria strawberry milk. Everyone knew this one kid loved it. I freaking love it. So one day, his friend group makes a deal. All right, so for every strawberry milk carton you finish, we'll all pay you $1. $1 per milk? Easy. So kid starts sliding in these strawberry milk cartons across the table, and now he's got a bunch in front of him. Guys, this is gonna be awesome. I love strawberry milk. The first carton goes down easy. The second carton, still good. Third carton, confidence is growing. I got this. All right, it's $3 so far, man. By the time lunch is halfway over, there's a crowd forming around him, cheering for him. Come on, man, you got this. That's really impressive. Milk. That's $15 so far, man. The kid keeps drinking. The money keeps stacking. Carton number 18. He stops in his tracks. Silence. And then it happens. A violent, unstoppable stream of neon pink vomit explodes across the lunch table, covering trays, shoes, people's faces. Everyone begins to scatter, running away from this horrible scene. He got to keep the money, but ever since that day, he has not been able to drink milk ever again, and strawberry milk was his favorite. It's kind of sad. This could have been so bad. In this one class, he used to sit in the same seat every single day. Front row in the middle, nothing too special about it. Well, one particular morning, he noticed the person that usually sits right to the left of him was absent. So there was an empty desk right there, and he decided for that day he was gonna sit there. Class then starts like normal. About 25 minutes in, there's a large crack. Then another. Then the overhead projector that is directly above his normal seat falls down and crashes onto that empty desk. That could have been you. Yeah, I know. And it went down fast. The desk was now cracked. Imagine if he was sitting there. The room was frozen, like holy crap, this could have been horrible. Maintenance comes in, they pick it up, they make sure nobody's hurt, and then they just go on about their day. But that day could have gone a whole lot differently if his classmate wasn't sick, and if he decided he wasn't gonna switch seats. But he did. And life went on. Somebody's looking out for him. This math teacher was a total freaking nightmare. She required every student to have a specific scientific calculator in her class. The calculator cost $100, but if you forgot yours, too bad. She wouldn't lend you one, and you were not allowed to share or borrow off of anybody else's when you were in the classroom. Well, one Saturday, a junior named Marcus was biking in his neighborhood when he spots a massive garage sale. Oh, that looks sick. He goes up and takes a closer look, and he finds an absolute gold mine. This, tech hoarder was selling a box of 15 perfect condition graphing calculators for $1 each. Well, Marcus didn't even blink. He bought all of them. I'm gonna buy all of them. He dropped $15, took everything home, and he realized he was sitting on over $1,000 of technology. Well, the next Monday, he brought these to school to start a little business. He would stand right outside of that rude teacher's classroom door. It would be 5 minutes before the bell, and he would rent them out to students that didn't have these calculators. Hey, psst, you need one? I know she's tough. $5 to rent for the class period. Oh my God, thank you so much. There's a test today. I was gonna fail it. I got you, dog. After a while, word spread, and people would just message him like, hey, got any calculators today? I need one for the class. Yeah, I got a few left. I'll meet you by the bathroom in 10. The teacher eventually said that students could no longer rent these calculators, but that rule never really stuck because at that point, she's just using any excuse to fail students. This kid retired at the end of the year, and he sold those calculators to people that would buy them for half the price. But he swears he saved a lot of people's grades that year, and that is respect. It's March. The school goes into one of those lockdowns where the police bring in these dogs to sniff around the lockers looking for some sort of illegal substances. Every classroom door is locked. There's no bathroom breaks allowed. Well, one kid in this class is visibly unwell. Pale, he's sweating. The teacher notices and goes over to him. What's wrong?
The kid whispers back, "Do you think the dogs would go to my locker?" The teacher kind of pauses. Do you have something to be worried about? Kid nods yes and says, "There's a ham and cheese sandwich in there with extra mayonnaise on it." The teacher's confused. That's not a problem. You're allowed to have food." The kid says, "I know, but it's been in there since September. 6 months. 6 months the sandwich has been in the locker, and the kid is so worried about it, I'm pretty sure that sandwich smelled." This kid wasn't afraid of getting expelled. He was afraid that the dogs were going to uncover this weird biological event that was growing in his locker for 6 months. Luckily for him, the dogs didn't go by his locker and nobody uncovered the sandwich smell. But that teacher never forgot the fear on that kid's face.
This school had a zero tolerance rule, and it sounded fair until kids realized what that actually meant. If a fight happened, everybody involved would get the same punishment. Didn't matter who started it, didn't matter who swung first. If you were involved, it was all the same. And on paper, it was supposed to stop the bullying. In reality, it did the opposite. The bullies figured it out fast. They'd corner somebody, shove them, taunt them, and then they would say the same thing. "Go ahead, hit me, loser. You're getting in trouble regardless." But you won't. And the victims, they learned the lesson as well. If they stayed still and took the beating, they'd be punished. If they would fight back, they'd also be punished. It was the same outcome. So something changed. Kids who usually froze stopped freezing. If I'm getting in trouble either way, I'm not holding back. Fights stopped becoming these quick one-sided scuffles. They became explosive, unpredictable. One day, a bully was picking on this kid he normally does. Idiot, loser, freak. And the kid that he was bullying went feral, shoved him so hard he fell through the classroom window. One fight was so nuts, it took 5 staff members to break it up. And this was all because of the zero tolerance rules. These kids that were picked on were not holding back anymore. They're like, screw this, I'm not taking it if I'm gonna get in trouble as well. The school administration eventually started to panic. The rule meant to stop violence made it more extreme. They then changed the rule back to what it was before this, but it was never really the same after that. That's nuts. This guy said that when he was a kid, his mom had this crazy punishment for whenever he taught back to them or used inappropriate language. "Hey, I said no Minecraft till you're done with your homework." "Homework is dumb, Mom. This is bullshit." Whenever something like that happened, she would force him to smell the dog's breath. "Get your dog?"
"Mom, no, I said get your dog."
"Rufus, come here, buddy." "Come here, Rufus. I'm just gonna hold your mouth open for a second, okay? Smell it. Smell it."
What did you eat today, man?
Black markets, kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he ran a study guide business. And these weren't your run-of-the-mill study guides. These were well-detailed, easy-to-cover documents that covered every single major test and quiz for the whole school. He had a group of students working for him. They were called the contributors. They would help him write and construct these study guides. He sold these study guides for $10 to $20 depending on the test. He also hired some of the bigger kids in school to be the muscle. The muscle kept the blacklisted kids from playing any playground games like basketball or soccer. Kids could be blacklisted for a number of reasons, like borrowing a study guide and never paying back what's due, or for lending a study guide to any non-paying individual. This dude sent me screenshots of the documents he actually used. This is the terms and conditions that came with every single study guide. Pause if you want to read. This is the blacklist Excel sheet. He even had an employment contract for every single one of his employees. He was very efficient. He made about $100 a week, and $600 a week for the bigger tests. And all I can say is for middle school, this is one hell of a business. Water's a reward. You don't just get it because you're thirsty.
This house is a desert.
At this house, water wasn't a right. It was a privilege. Every day after school, this kid had the same rule. No exceptions. Drop your backpack, sit at the table, and do your homework. No TV, no snacks, no water. His mom would say it every day. Water is a reward, not a right. Well, one day he gets home absolutely dying of thirst. He makes a quiet move towards the kitchen. He almost reaches the faucet. Don't even think about it. She's already standing there, arms crossed. Homework first. So he's at the kitchen table, math textbook open, mouth dry as sandpaper, watching the faucet drip. 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 He finishes his homework, he gives it to her. Messy work. Do it again. Bro almost passed out right there. When he finally earned a glass of water, she handed it to him like a prize at a carnival. Here's your water. You did really good. The next day at school, he took extra water fountain breaks because he never knew how his mom would act when he got home from school. This school prank lasted for 2 years. It all began at his high school when a single rubber duck appeared in the school's water fountain. And nobody thought much of it. It was just a random duck. Who cares? Until the next day, 2 ducks, then 4, then 10. By the end of that week, there was rubber ducks appearing in every sink, every toilet, and even in students' lockers. Teachers were losing their minds. The principal, she was done. She kept saying on the intercom, "Whoever's responsible for the ducks, speak up now, please." Silence. Nobody confessed. So they gave up. They figured it would eventually sizzle out. But here's the thing, it never stopped. For 2 years, rubber ducks would randomly appear in the craziest of places. Ceiling tiles, inside the vending machines, somehow. One duck even appeared in the vice principal's car. It became a legend till this senior year. It was graduation. The principal was giving her speech when suddenly a banner dropped down. What was on the banner? A single rubber duck. This kid walked to the front of the stage and said, "It was me. It was always me." Okay, this is hilarious. My follower sent me this story. She said that one day she was at her boyfriend's house when she had to go poop. Very bad. I have to go to the bathroom. Well, the bathroom is right next to her boyfriend's bedroom, so she figured she'd have to be quiet, otherwise he would know she was pooping. So she goes in there and sits down. What is that? She sees that the bathtub is full of water. So she asks her boyfriend, "Hey, so the bathtub's full of water. Is someone taking a bath or something? Or am I still good to go in there?" He responds, "Yeah, my sister's really pregnant and she's gonna give birth at home, and that bathtub is for the water birth." Oh, okay. Obviously that's kind of weird, but she goes to the bathroom anyway and she starts pooping. And mid-push, the door bursts open. "Oh, it's coming! The baby's coming!" Talk about embarrassing. This kid cheated on his test in a genius way. So at his high school, whenever they took a test in a specific class, they would grade all the tests as a class. So you would be grading your own paper, but the teacher would make sure that you only had a red pen at your desk. So when you were grading your own paper, you could only use a red pen. Well, this kid had a brilliant idea. He never studied for tests. He said he didn't really want to. So what he did in this class was he took his red pen, opened it up, took out the red ink pen thing, and replaced that with a black ink pen thing. Looks like a red pen, but it's actually black. So when the teacher is giving out the answers and the students are grading their tests in the red pen, this guy would be fixing everything he got wrong. And it would look like he was grading his tests, when in reality, he was changing his answers. He said this worked every single time, and he got an A on every single test in that class.
So teachers are starting to realize that kids are using ChatGPT. There's a website called Quillbot, which you'll go here and get the paper, then you take it from there, put it on Quillbot, then Quillbot makes it seem like you wrote it, so the school cannot track.
Not anymore. Quillbot is detectable, as you can see right here. I mean, this is the proof. Quillbot does not work anymore, but there is a solution. Use this tool instead to beat Turnitin and GPT-0, and it's completely free. It's called Grubby AI, and it's an incredibly effective AI text humanizer that is 100% undetectable by AI detectors. School's right around the corner, and I think this thing's gonna save your life. The locker room snack dealer. In high school, this kid noticed something. After their gym class, everyone was starving. But the vending machines were always broken and the cafeteria was in the other end of the school. And that's when he saw his opportunity. He went to Costco and bought tons of bulk snacks. Chips, candy, granola bars, you name it. Then he started selling them straight out of his gym locker. The first day he began doing this, everyone was hyped. Oh my gosh, this kid's selling food for us. We're starving every day. This is perfect. After gym class every day, kids would be lining up at his locker to buy some of his snacks. It was a genius business, truly. He was making $50 a day just from selling these snacks. You know, things did get a little bit risky. One day, a teacher walked into the locker room and saw what was going on, and he said, "Hey, you better not be doing what I think you're doing." Kid was scared. He was like, But the teacher was like, "Just kidding." Handed the kid a $5 bill and bought snacks himself. What a legend. That kid ran a snack business all year, and he made over $1,500. You gotta respect the hustle. One day at this one high school, the science class was dissecting sheep brains as a part of a science lab. Well, as the students were cutting up bits and pieces of the sheep's brain, I guess one of the kids had a pretty crazy idea. He took a few pieces of the sheep brain and put them in his pocket. And that day during lunch, he put pieces of sheep brain in the self-serve ranch bowls. So when the students went to serve themselves ranch, a few of them would get brain on their plate. Pizza day, ranch with pizza, ranch. Oh my god! At first, obviously, no one knew it was sheep's brain. They thought it was a human brain. The rest of that day was absolute chaos. This kid exposed his own teacher, but then it backfired. Let's call this kid Jake. And recently, Jake had been noticing something strange. The star quarterback, let's call him Ryan, never studied, never did his homework, but he managed to get perfect scores on every test. Well, one day, Jake was staying after class a little bit to ask the teacher a question when he noticed something. The teacher hands Ryan a piece of paper and says, "Memorize these." That's when Jake realizes the teacher is giving him the answers to the test. Well, he thought, no wonder he keeps getting perfect scores. The teacher is helping him cheat. The teacher's helping him remain on the football team. Instead of snitching, Jake gets smart. He starts watching Ryan, catches him in the library, memorizing stuff from the exact paper the teacher gave him. Jake slowly walks behind Ryan and secretly takes a picture of the paper. Then on test day, he takes a picture of his test. The answer sheet that Ryan was memorizing matches exactly to the test they received. He got it. Proof. The teacher and Ryan were caught. Well, instead of turning this into the principal or whatever, he showed the teacher. He blackmailed her. Hey, yeah, see this? Look familiar? And see this? That's our test from today. The exact same. I know what you're doing. Oh my god. Well, no. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start giving me the answers to every test. Or I'm taking these pictures and I'm telling the school board and you're fired. Okay. That's blackmail, baby. Now Jake starts getting perfect scores on every single test. But this all came crumbling down. Apparently, another student in the class had stayed behind and heard Jake tell the teacher this. That student went to the principal. What happened? Well, the teacher was fired, Ryan was benched and never played football again, and Jake, he got suspended. This is awesome. This person said that when he was in high school, he was applying to colleges, and there was one college that he really wanted to go to. So he was at his counselor's office, and they were talking about this. Yeah, so I really want to go to that school, Steven, and I think I can do it. Steven, you're not getting into the school, man. Steven was pissed. He went to the principal's office and told the principal the situation. Yeah, so Mr. Johnson just completely disregarded me and shut me down, said that there's no way I'm getting into that school. Well, Steven, he has a point. I mean, look at the school and look at you. Apply to a state school, you know? Come, just go. This made Steven even more mad. So what did he do? He went home. He sat down at his computer and he began writing his college essay. He went to town. He was writing. He was thinking. His brainstorming. Thoughts were just spurting out of everywhere. He was done. He sent it off to that school that he really wanted to go to, and he waited. Well, time passed, and suddenly there was a big packet in his mailbox. He goes inside and he opens it. Accepted. I got in. I got in. He got into the school. Oh my god, he was so freaking excited. Well, turns out this school was way too much money and he could not afford it, so he ended up not going to school, but he made copies of the acceptance letter and he taped it to the door of his counselor and the principal. One for you and one for you. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. All right, love you guys. I'm going to my friend's house. Okay, don't forget the rules. I won't. The rule was this. She had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she'd be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here? Another stupid school rule, and this one's absolutely ridiculous. This kid's 8th grade teacher had one dumb, crazy rule. You were only allowed to use the bathroom 3 times per semester. Not 3 times per week, not 3 times per month, 3 times per semester. And if you hit that limit, too bad. One day this kid raised his hand. Hey, can I go to the bathroom? The teacher sighed. You've already gone 3 times. Well, I drink a bunch of water today like a human being and I have to go to the bathroom. Well, that's too bad. You should have planned better. Hold it. This dude was absolutely fuming, and he said screw it. A few minutes later, he stood up and walked towards the door. Excuse me, where do you think you're going? The bathroom. If you leave this classroom, you will be sitting in detention, young man. He paused, looked back at her and said, that's fine. I'd rather sit in detention than sit in my own piss. And he walked out. The entire class erupted. Oh, nice! Teacher was speechless. She even started crying a little bit. After that day, the school forced her to change that bathroom rule, and they launched an investigation into her teaching methods, as they should. Every single morning, this kid bought the same thing from the vending machine, sugar-free lemonade. Yum. The same vending machine, the same drink, every morning. It was his routine. Well, one morning, he drops his coins in. What the heck? Clink, clink, nothing. The machine is not recognizing this money at all. He tries to press the button to get his coins back, but nothing was happening. Okay, must be working. He goes to the office and tells them. They say that they have no control over the vending machines at all. So he wrote on a piece of paper, do not use out of order, and he tapes it to that vending machine. Okay, perfect. Now nobody else will waste their money here. Hero moment. The next morning, he goes to the vending machine and the paper is gone. So he assumes, oh cool, they must have fixed it. What the heck? Still broken. His coins just gone. Nothing's registering, he cannot get his drink. So he's irritated now, he makes another piece of paper. Do not use out of order. He tapes it on there. This time he checks on it at lunch, and the piece of paper is gone. But the machine is still broken. Somebody is taking his paper off but not fixing the machine. People are probably wasting their money here. He didn't want people to make the same mistake he was doing, but he was like, why are they taking this down? So he goes to the principal again, makes the principal call the vending machine company. They come out and they fix it. Yeah. But all the money he put in there was gone. They wouldn't give him a refund. But hey, at least he got the vending machine fixed. And he got to have the sugar-free lemonade again. His parents bought a house from a guy that owned a bowling alley, and the garage was stacked floor to ceiling with old wooden bowling pins, like surrounding the garage 10 feet high. So whenever they lit a fire in the fireplace, his dad would say the same thing. Hey son, go grab me a pin. Okay, sure thing, Pops. Then his dad would use that wooden bowling pin to start a fire in the fireplace, and to him, that was normal. Bowling pins equaled logs. Well, years later, he's at his first sleepover at his friend's house. It's a cold night, and the friend's dad wants to start a fireplace in the fire. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna start a fire. Well, this kid sees this as a moment that he can help. He wants to be helpful, so he stands up immediately. Cool, I'll help. Where do you keep your bowling pins? Bro, what? They were all confused, like, what do you mean, where do you keep your bowling pins, you freaking weirdo? The dad finally laughs and explains to him that people can just use logs to start a fire, not bowling pins. And that's when it hit him. He was the weird one. His entire childhood fireplace experience was insane. And then he watched his friend's dad light a regular log in the fireplace, and he was disappointed. Because he said, bowling pins, they burned better. That's crazy. For almost a year, this kid kept reporting the same bully to the office. He beat me up again. And every single time, the school staff reacted the same way. Okay, we'll look into it. He's just being dramatic. And this bully was ruthless. Locker shoves, he would slap the books out of his hand. He started rumors about him. Hey, he uses onions as soap. But the school staff kept saying, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not doing nothing. They just weren't taking it seriously. They didn't think he was telling the truth. After a while, are you sure you're not misinterpreting things? You keep reporting the same student every day. We need proof. I don't have proof. Well, that's too bad. Well, that spring, they installed cameras in the school, all throughout the hallways. The cameras were not installed for bullying. The superintendent just made the decision. Well, the first week the cameras are live, this kid was bullied every day. And at the end of the week, he goes to the office. It happened again. Every single day this week, he shoved me in the locker, he beat me up, he slapped the books out of my hands. Here we go again, we need proof. Well, this time you do. Remember? You guys installed cameras in the hallway. Oh, that's right. They checked the cameras, and they saw it. Every day that kid being bullied by the same bully he said he was being bullied by. And there was an investigation launched. The bully gets suspended for 2 weeks, and the school staff pulls him into the office and apologizes. I mean, finally, but that's still super messed up. This kid was so quiet, he was made fun of for it. People said he was weird, awkward, boring, but then one day, the talent show happened. His name was Marcus. He never caused trouble, he sat alone at lunch, and he didn't talk much. So when his name got called at the talent show, people were like, wait, Marcus? Then Marcus walked on stage. He didn't have a smile, there was no intro, he just grabbed the mic, looked at the tech guy, and nodded. Then he opened his mouth and he sang opera. Like real opera. Some of it was in Latin, he had vibrato, the entire auditorium was silent. People were gasping, one girl started crying. This is beautiful! At the end of the song, he stopped and put the mic down. A second of silence, and then... Yes! Standing ovation, and he's standing there, taking it all in. Thank you! He was kind of a legend for the rest of the year, but after that year he had transferred schools and nobody saw him again. Until a couple years later, he got a full ride scholarship to Yale, where he's now getting his doctorate. You know, people were calling him weird, but turns out he was in a whole different league. The kid's gonna be a star. This teacher's bogus for this. One morning in this class, everyone was supposed to present these dioramas, and these kids had spent a lot of time on these. They're all lined up on tables. Castles, volcanoes, rainforests. The entire room looks like an art fair. Well, then one kid starts messing around, weaving between tables, being kind of reckless, and then, bam, he stumbles onto someone's project. Oh, crunch. The trees snap in half, clay figures all across the floor. This kid's diorama was completely ruined. Dude, what are you doing? Wasn't my fault. The teacher walks over, takes one look and says, maybe you should have put it somewhere secure. Now you're not ready for your presentation. What? Let this be a lesson to you. In life, you must always have a backup plan. And that kid failed the assignment, all because some nutcase slammed into it and broke his project. That is not fair, and that teacher is so messed up for this.
Hey, কি করবি? চেনা চেহারা না হলো কি চেহারা কথা তো বেশি চেহারা ওজন বেশি
আপনি না শুই না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা।
রক্ত লাগবে রে। রক্ত? আসবো না মানে? হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম। আসবো না। ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা যাও।
কি রে তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগা থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল। গলবে পাখির মন গলবে এমন মন্ত্র দেব।
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয় আপনি শিখাই না তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল না। আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর। আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসা চাই, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি ওরে পালি হবে।
ওকে আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন।
আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত, এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানাই দিবে। আর আমার
এন্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও। কি রে মাম্মা, কই রে তুই? কতক্ষণ ধরে দাঁড়ায় থাকবো? কনসার্ট তো শুরু হয়ে যাবে, তাইলে তো বন্ধু রীত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা যা পাল্লাটা ভালো দেখা যাক কি করে শালা। বোবা হ্যাঁ কথা বলতে পারো না? বিয়ান সাহেব আসসালামু আলাইকুম। বিয়ান সাহেব
এক্সকিউজ মি,
বলে দিবেন যে আমার বন্ধুর সাথে যেন ভালোভাবে প্রেম করে, নাইলে কিন্তু ঝামেলা আছে। যেদিকে তাকাই তোমায় দেখতে পাই, কিচ্ছু ভালো লাগে না। বন্ধু তুই যদি রক্ত দেস ভালো লাগে না রে দোস্ত।
না দুলা ভাই, আমি তো কোচিং এ যাই নাই, আমার তো বাসায় গেস্ট আসছে আর আমার আম্মু তো একা, এজন্য আমি যাই না।
আমার পড়াশোনা সবকিছু বন্ধ করে দিবে, তখন আমি কি করব?
আরে ছাইরা দে।
তবে তিনটে সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে এখন ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেনও প্রেম করে। মামা মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু। শুনেন বেন সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু জিসান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনো। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি, কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে গেছে। তুই রবিলের সুন্দর রিক্সা ডাক। ভাবি কি আমার বন্ধু জিসান দেখতে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি বন্ধু ধরে না, আবার কল দে। এই এই দুলা ভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে, আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল, আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর। আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসাতে, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পালি হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা, আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন,